Howdy. Well, since I've been showing off pistols and rifles of late, I thought I would put out one that's pretty representative of one army circa the 1950s. And this was what you would expect to see if you were in French Indochina and working for the French Foreign Legion. You were probably a former member of the Waffen-SS, hiding out in the French Foreign Legion to try and avoid being prosecuted for war crimes. Now, if you've served in the French Foreign Legion, you get a new name, and upon release after good service, you get a French passport and citizenship, and therefore your past is completely expunged. So it was a very nice thing that a lot of Germans liked to do back then. Of course, at the time, you were being thrown into the meat grinder that was Southeast Asia, fighting the Viet Minh. But this is the rifle and pistol you'd probably be assigned. This is an MOS 4956. This is the standard rifle of the 1950s of the French Foreign Legion. It's a semi-automatic, magazine fed. It's in 7.5 French. This particular one has been rebored to 308 by Century Arms when they imported it. By the way, if you ever have one of these, and you ever have one that has been rebarreled, or even if you have an original, one thing I strongly suggest is replace your firing pin. The firing pins in a MOS 4956 is an inertial firing pin, meaning there's no spring, and it just goes back and forth with the pressure that's on it. Well, the ammo that they were using in Vietnam or in Indochina was had extremely hard primers on it. And that was okay because it would go boink, boink, boink against the primer and do nothing until it was the force of the actual firing pin spring pushing it ahead. Commercial primers today, on the other hand, are not so hard and forgiving. And that means that these things are known for what's called a double tap, where you pull the trigger and expect one round to go, and it's two. Because it'll go bang, and then the inertia of the bolt going back to cycle the next round and slam forward is just enough so that inertial firing pin goes forward and hits the next round being chambered and fires it as well. What you can do is buy a new firing pin that has been drilled or reamed out slightly, and then it has been cut with a new spring on it so that it's once it goes back, it's held back by that spring until the firing pin spring hits it, and bang, it goes forward and does what it's supposed to do. Just a suggestion, if you happen to own one of these. I did. I've experienced a double tap. I didn't like it, and I found a place in Texas, a gunsmith there that sells those things. And he has excellent service because I lost my spring, and I wrote him, and he's just sent me, gratis, a new spring. To me, that's just exceptional service. Anyway, with this, I happen to have all the accessories that go with it. This is the armorer's kit. It includes extra springs, firing pins, and the like, and cleaning materials. You'll notice that this has a, I don't know, can you see that? This has a grenade launcher on the front. This is the included grenade launcher sight system that you would slip on the thing to set it up. It's this is almost as rare as the gun. It's actually more rare than the gun. I've never seen the grenade this thing shoots, but just having that is kind of a rarity. And this is extra ammo pouches. The magazine, as you see, has a clip on the outside that comes out. It's quite an interesting system. And then it has this Bakelite or some other plastic bolt handle, which is really, really interesting. By the way, this is direct gas impingement is the system it uses, and it's kind of unique. It also has this rubber thing for setting the to your shoulder if you're a big guy. You can get different ones of these with less or more padding on the back. Now, as to the pistol, this is a Moss 1935A. You'll notice that it looks a lot like the P210 of Switzerland. That's because this is the grandfather of the P210. This is a, let's see, what would you call it? It's a SACM was the manufacturer. I cannot say that in French. But this is the model 1935A. If you were to issue that, excuse me just a moment, let me get this down, you would be issued this. This is the substitute standard. That's a Moss or M 1935S. When they held a trial for the pistol, this was the one who won, and this was the runner-up. Well, they were tooling up to make this, and they just didn't have enough. So they said, okay, just give us a whole bunch of these. But this would be the primary. Both of these are chambered in 7.65 French long. It's basically the exact same cartridge as 30 Peterson. It's a slightly longer than 32 Auto. It's also much more powerful. It's not quite as powerful as, say, 9mm, but it is a good, robust round. I have a few boxes of it. There are very, very few left around because Steinell's makes it, but a certain gun Jesus has a Moss 49 submachine gun. I think it's 49 or is it 39? I forget, but he has the submachine gun made in this round, and he bought up Steinell's whole supply. It seems. I talked to the guy at Steinell's, and he says, "Yeah, well, Ian bought it all." So, oh well. When they can make some more, they'll make some more. But I mean, I wish no ill on Gun Jesus. He's helped me out with a lot of information that I otherwise would not have, and I've bought 2 of his books. Matter of fact, I've been a supporter of his on Utreon for many years. And if you're interested, I'm on Utreon. If you look down in my description, you'll find the link. And if you want to donate, I certainly wouldn't mind. But you know, oh, by the way, I think you're supposed to say at this point, like, share, and subscribe. I don't care. Do what you like. But if you want to send me loot, I'm not going to say no. Just saying. Anyway, this is the Moss 4956. It was actually originally the Moss 44, but the Nazis had just won, and the French sort of hid the blueprints and plans and all the things for this so that they didn't find it. And I'm glad they did, because as soon as the war was over, they went to tooling up to make these again, and they came up with this one, which is an improved version, and it's a much better rifle. When they went to the FAMAS, they surplused all of these. Century Arms bought them and imported a whole mess of them over to the U.S. And I picked one up. And I've been out shooting at the range, and it's just a wonderful rifle to shoot. I'm sure that the anti-gunners would just love to get rid of this, but this one's mine. I've paid for it. It has this